We're going to make soy milk yogurt and yogurt with 1 cup of dried soybeans that we've soaked overnight, 11 cups of water, and 1 cup of sugar. Okay, it's 6:30 on Monday, February 4th. It's 1 cup, and it calls for 10 cups of water. And then tomorrow we'll make our soy milk. So this is Tuesday, February 5th. I'm just showing you the temperature here in this kitchen is 64 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason I'm showing you that is because we're going to make yogurt. So I just want you to know that it's not extremely hot in here, but yet we're going to make delicious yogurt. We're going to continue from where we started last night. 3 cups of water in here. You'll notice when you soak beans, you get this froth on top. That's completely fine. I used to think it was poison, and I'd throw it all out, and then realize that actually they all get frothy like that. If you keep it too many days, then rinse them. You can easily rinse the beans and just use different water. Same when you cook it. So just because this was last night, I'm not going to change the water. If it were hot and if I'd had it around for a while, then I definitely would have changed it. Also, if you want to stop some of the beginning fermenting processes, just put it in the fridge if you don't have time to get to it the following day. I'm going to talk a little quickly. We have here, this is the water, so there's 3 in here and there's 8 cups of water here. This is a double boiler that I just it fit together. Okay, so this is just a stainless steel bowl, and this is just a pot, and it happens to fit perfectly, which will allow me to use it as a double boiler when I heat it up later. Some people don't heat their soy milk. I will. And when you do it in a double boiler, then it won't be sticking and getting brown on the bottom. That's all that is. Now, some people buy cheesecloth. You get like a little piece like that of cheesecloth for $5. I have these old towels that are very thin. I use this, and this way I spread it all over and push it through. That's the time-consuming part, and then you can use all kinds of mixers. I happen to just have a blender. I have other mixers too, but I want to show everyone that you can do it with a blender. It doesn't have to be with some super-duper grinder, even though a super-duper grinder works really well. So I'm going to use this water, and I'm just going to grate. Remember, safety procedures. I would never let a child under a certain age, you determine the age, use this. If you do poke things in to release it, make sure it's off, and if a child's working it, make sure the plug is pulled out. And I'm going to be doing this. I'll turn the camera off, but it takes a long process, and we'll just keep pureeing it till it's really pureed. And I see I have about half of the beans in there, and it's starting to get thick. And I'll go over this several times. And this, again, I'll just wash afterwards. It makes it a lot easier. It really saves a lot of lives. Dairy is one of the ugliest. Dairy is really quite painful to all concerned, and if you are able to make something and replace your dairy consumption with other things like soybeans or almonds, it really helps an awful lot of animals. It's not just the mother cow, but the calves. that get taken away from her, and of course the boy calves are taken away right away and sent to slaughter because there's no use for them. The girl calves are kept about 15 days in a little crate where they are there for the veal products. And then the mother is just chained, at a milking station for as long as she'll make milk. Then, when her milk dries up, they'll impregnate her again, and the cycle will start all over again. And dairy cuts the mother's life short by a third. They can live till about 20, and they usually die out of exhaustion in about 5 years. Later on, we are going to make some yogurt with this. I've done it successfully using the starter bacteria from soy yogurt. It's certified vegan, and so I just put the milk into glass containers with a teaspoon or less of the yogurt, and it ferments overnight. And the reason I showed you the thermometer, it's a 60-something here in this kitchen, meaning it's not hot, but it still ferments very well. So it doesn't require all the packaging and stuff that we so often understand as being necessary. So you can also buy the culture online, so you don't have to get it from another yogurt. But for this demo, this is what I wanted to do. Wow, you see how much is coming there? So it's coming. We can measure later too. How much we got and how much we get. Okay. So for now, I'm going to put this over here. I'll let it continue to drain. And now we can see that's 4 cups. This is 4 cups. So we used 8 cups. We had 11 cups, and so I guess we might have 8, 9. So that means we have about 2 cups left in there, which we'll get later, a little bit more. So now I'm going to, this is whole milk, and you can eat it at this point. And some people do raw, whole soy milk. But now I'm going to put it in my double boiler and let it cook for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to put this on the stove just now, but before we do, I want to show you the time. 5:08, and it's about 65 degrees in here. So that took about a half an hour. And look. So you can see here it's about 5:13, and this was heating earlier. There's some hot water in there. Here's my soy milk. And the beauty with the double boiler is the bottom of this isn't on the fire, so it's not going to burn. This tends to burn quickly. I think the biggest thing you need to manage with this is people's expectations. So if you make this for children, make it sweeter than normal. Be prepared for people, are going to compare it to what they know. And depending on what that is, it can be very different. So to be a success, there's a lot to manage with this getting off of dairy. I'm going to keep pushing this out. My hands are clean. Even more. So here's the yogurt I used. This was $1.50. It's 6 ounces. I got it just for the bacteria for this. Vegan cultures. Live active vegan cultures. And so I'll start this yogurt and then when I go to finish, let's say I have these all with yogurt, I'll take a spoonful out of this and then start another batch of yogurt. So you always take a spoonful of your last, your last yogurt and use it to populate the other yogurts. So I'm just going to put a half of a teaspoon. You can also buy the cultures on the internet. I haven't gotten around to doing that yet, but I will. 523 here. No recipe would be good without seeing Daisy. Daisy girl. Hey girl. Hey girl. Hey. Right girl? Hungry? She's hungry. To wash my hands. But I wanted you to see the time and the temperature here. So the temperature is 64 degrees. You see, and it's about 5:22. So I just want to finish up with the yogurt side. This has been off, but it's still quite warm. So I am going to make 2 bottles with this warm yogurt water, soy milk, and then later I'll make 2 bottles once it's completely cooled, maybe tomorrow morning. Because if I'm not mistaken, you can make yogurt with cold with milk. That's why I like it. It seems to be quite flexible. It doesn't seem to have to be so precise, but this is quite warm. And by the way, for my purposes, I did those. So I'm going to put a W on here for warm, warm soy milk. And then once it's completely room temperature, we'll make 2 that's room temperature. It's 6:31. This is 2 hours since we started the whole process. So once we figure out if it can be warm and when you make your yogurt, or if you have to wait till it's room temperature, then we'll know exactly how much time it takes to make soy milk and soy yogurt. Okay. Hi, good morning. So it is Wednesday morning. 7:40 temperature in the kitchen, just happens to be 66 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason I'm showing you that is because we're working on the making yogurt from the milk that we made yesterday. So we made 2 batches of yogurt. One is I did with warm milk, and this has been out all night. And so I just wanted to put it away here, and we'll label it, and we'll see how it turns out. You'll notice with soy milk, what's really cool is it doesn't settle. It stays like this the whole time, homogenized. I expected it to settle and require stirring, but it doesn't. So here's the dollop of the soy yogurt I put in there. I showed that yesterday. And this is just going to sit here in this kitchen. It's normally warmer, cooler than what we have. It's just because I've been cooking this morning. Hey, in the past, this combination has worked with room temperature soy milk and the bacteria. I had to let it sit for 2 days. It just sat out, which this is going to do. So I'm going to call this, put an R on it for room temperature. I'll call this room temperature. The other one was, we said it was warm. So here it's 1 day after we stored. It's Wednesday, February 6th, 2013. It's 1 day since we stored away. We made our soy milk yesterday evening, and we stored away warm milk. We put this in this container with the dollop of the soy yogurt, and we just left it out. So this was the warm milk. And as you can see, nothing's developed. It's still very milky. So This we had labeled W for warm milk. And these two, room temperature, I just put in. So I'm going to put these on the shelf, and then tomorrow we're going to see how these have developed. The warm one has been there overnight. It hasn't developed any yogurt yet, but we'll see tomorrow morning how this goes. It's Friday, February 8th at 6:20. And the kitchen temperature again is about the same. It's been in the low 60s Fahrenheit. And so I just wanted to show you some progress on the yogurt. So we put it in, if you recall. See there, it says 6:21. We put it in on Tuesday night. Okay, I had to fix the camera. So we made our milk, which is here. It's been outside the whole time. I haven't refrigerated it. And you see, it hasn't even settled to the bottom. That's how cool soy milk is. I realized I had coconut yogurt. So I made one with coconut yogurt that night at room temperature. So we'll see how they turned out. Just going to make sure the camera is focused, because you can't taste it, but you can see it. So we'll start with the room temperature one. And these have been out just like this. So here's room temperature. Isn't that exciting? If that isn't yogurt, I don't know what is. Oh my gosh. So that looks pretty great, room temperature. Here's a bigger container. This was room temperature as well. And let's see, if it got through. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So I would say that's yogurt also. Again, this was just soy. I never did add the sugar that the recipe called for. So we'd have to see how it would work with sugar, but I can manage that later. Here's the warm one, a smaller container. Look, that looks a little creamier, but it's yogurt. Oh my gosh. And here's another container where it was warm, but a little bit bigger, taller. Just want to see if it, made it all the way up. Oh my gosh, yep. It almost looks like the room temperature ones got more curdled. That's what I would say. But I would say it's yogurt. Then, since I had this going and I had a new container of coconut milk yogurt, which is also vegan. Anyway, since I had this, and it was with the live culture, I wanted to see how it worked on soy. Because not all of these bacteria work on the different, things. Different cultures feed bacteria feed on different. Okay, so here it is. Wow, this worked too. Look at that. So I think we can conclude that we can make soy milk in about an hour. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So about 3 days we can make yogurt. And if your ambient temperature is warm, like summertime, or in the tropics, I bet it might go a little bit faster. So here are L. acidophilus, B. bifidum, L. vulgaricus, and S. thermophilus. So we can get those in the mail, or you can use it a spoonful of this. Or next time we make milk, we'll take a spoonful of this, because the cultures will be in there. And then we'll make a new batch of yogurt. And very much. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. This is a real breakthrough for people who miss dairy beyond belief and have a real hard time transitioning off of dairy. I think this is very doable.